I've got 4 boxes EVE LF280K batteries here. And they have been sent from our friends from Yixiang in China. Yeah, the same guys who are making this amazing do-it-yourself battery box, which is currently the best one on the market. If you haven't seen the review, I'll link it down below. And they also happen to have 16 of these EVE LF280K batteries in Sydney already and have sent them over here to the off-grid garage for testing purposes. And these boxes actually didn't have my address sticker on them, but there was someone else's address on there. So I'm wondering if there was a cancelled order or something and the batteries are already here in Australia. For whatever reason, the person couldn't take the batteries anymore because they arrived here at my doorstep within 10 days or so. Anyway, bad for this other customer, very good for me. And I have to show you something which is not so great. Today's weather. It is raining outside. It is terrible raining. We've got almost no solar production. 13 amps outside, a bit over 1 kilowatt of solar. And it's not too bad actually. 1 kilowatt of solar in these conditions, totally fine. Guys, welcome back to the off-grid garage here in sunny hot Australia. Oh no, it's not sunny hot. What am I saying? Guys, welcome back to the off-grid garage here in Australia. That's more appropriate. And today we are pausing the renovation work, the building of the battery and system room here. And we want to do some battery testing. We want to have a look at these batteries, how the quality is. Because I have not heard from this supplier before. And from what we have seen from the do-it-yourself box, very high quality, very good system design. So as I just said, I think it is the best do-it-yourself box on the market right now. Yeah, and today we want to have a look at their batteries they have sent over. Obviously they are EVE Grade A battery cells. We're always getting Grade A battery cells, right? And how do we test these batteries? We want to unpack them first, inspect them physically, that they are not damaged, no dents, no scratches. Have a look at the overall quality, and then of course do all the testing with them. So usually when I order these batteries, I don't bother with testing them. I just install them, and so far I never had any issues. All of these suppliers on Alibaba and AliExpress, well, don't buy on AliExpress actually. So all the suppliers on Alibaba, they actually always promise they are voltage and internal resistance and capacity matched. But what does it mean? Well, it is only a snapshot for this moment when they test it. Yeah, if the batteries are 6 months older, this could slightly shift already. And the older the batteries are getting, the more they are drifting apart anyway. So it is more a marketing thing that they are saying they are all matched. But on the other hand, it is also good that they are doing this. So they're really making sure all the batteries are coming with the same state of charge, the same voltage, same internal resistance. So it makes it much easier for you to build such a battery. Yeah, and because these batteries are already here in Australia, they couldn't handpick any of these cells here, especially for me to show them here on YouTube, because I didn't order these batteries initially. They just happened to be here in the country already. So that's a good thing. We are getting batteries out of their normal stock and want to have a look what the consistency of this battery is. So I'll tell you more about this consistency test after we have checked these batteries. And there we go. So unpacked all the cells and we have a very quick look at the packaging here. We've got a double layer corrugated cardboard and very thick foam inserts here where the cells are resting in for transport. You can see this is very thick material and it helps prevent any damage to the cells here if the box has these drop marks like here. So packaging is very good, but should be standard for all batteries these days. Yeah, the batteries also come with accessories. We have 4 epoxy sheets here. We also have 4 bus bars. They are solid ones, not flexible ones. And we also, I've never seen this before, we have actually lock nuts instead of flange nuts. So they come with this plastic insert. First time I'm seeing these ones. So actually, I'm not 100% sure what is standard these days with battery cells and the accessories. Are epoxy sheets a standard? Are normal bus bars or flexible bus bars the standard? I don't know. Leave your comments down below what you think is the standard these days. I mean, these will work perfectly fine here, but we have seen other manufacturers who delivered flexible bus bars instead of solid bus bars. So this is still okay, but it is not perfect. And I'll just grab one random battery like this one. So first impression, very clean, very nice battery cells. Yeah, seems to be a very high quality. Intact barcode, safety valve, 6mm welded studs. And from the shape of the terminal you can see these are version 3 EVE cells. So this is the latest and greatest technology from EVE, and I'm expecting them to exceed actually 280 ampere hours. On the bottom we've got the black insulation material, so nothing to complain here. When you get new cells, you should always check them for any dents or scratches, any transport damages. So I've checked all these cells already. They all seem to have the same quality, at least from the outside. So before we test all these cells here electrically, I want to show you a method how you can keep track of these batteries over time. So what you need to do is the lithium iron phosphate QR code scanner. I linked this down below. We have used this in the past many times. And for a while, this one has a new feature now that you can actually export all your data to a CSV file. And this is exactly what we want to do today. And then we put the electrical measured data in this spreadsheet as well. And if we measure these batteries here in a year's time again, we can put the new values in this spreadsheet as well. And over time, you are creating a history of all your measurements, of all your tests with these battery cells. And over a longer period of time, maybe 5–10 years, you should be able to identify cells which are premature aging, so you can keep a closer look on these specific cells. And we scan our first battery. Hang on, before we do that, we have to go into the history. Because I've got a shit ton of batteries in here which I have scanned with this scanner. So we go in here and say clear history. Yep, get rid of all of them. Then we go back and scan this one again. So our battery number 1, there goes. And battery number 2, cell number 3, and cell number 4. So if you have a look in the history now, we can see all our 4 battery cells we have just scanned with all the details, right? Okay, let me scan the other ones as well here, and then we have a look at the result. So I have now scanned all 16 battery cells. You can see the list here in the lithium iron phosphate QR code scanner. And got the first scan at the top and the last scan at the bottom. I just confirmed this with the serial numbers. I wasn't quite sure in which order it records that. So we can click these 3 dots here at the top right-hand corner and export this to Excel or export this to a CSV file. And this goes now to my OneDrive, and we can open this on the computer and add more details as we go. Okay, let's do this quickly. So I've now opened this CSV file here on the computer, and we can see all the details of all 16 battery cells. EVE power, it's a cell, lithium iron phosphate, LF280K, 280 ampere hours, 896 watt hours, the production date, the production city, location, and then some other factory details we are not interested in, and of course the original QR code number. Okay, so we can now, of course, add more data to this spreadsheet here. So I've just added 2 more columns. One is voltage, the other is internal resistance. And this is exactly what we are going to measure now for each cell. And we put all the details here in this spreadsheet as well. So, and this is very basic stuff we have done a lot of times in the past. Measured the voltage and internal resistance of these battery cells. So I linked this internal resistance tester down below as well. We put the positive probe on the positive terminal, of course, and the negative to the negative. So we've got 3.29 volts and 0.2 milliohms. So I've added this information to the spreadsheet, and I'm going to cell number 2 now. And we have 3.29 volts and 0.2 milliohms. Exactly the same. Okay, I think you got a good understanding now what we are trying to do here. Let me measure all the cells, put this all in the spreadsheet, and then we have a quick look. So, and now I have measured all the voltages and internal resistances of all the battery cells, and we are between 3.28 to 3.29, and the internal resistance shows between 0.19 milliohms to 0.22 milliohms. So within 0.03 milliohms, which is 30 microohms. Yeah, I mean, come on. That is the deviation we have at the moment across these cells, so very well matched from this perspective. But as I already said, this will change over time when the batteries get older. When you start using them, when the temperature rises. This is just a snapshot right now at this specific date at this time here in the garage, at this temperature, at this air pressure, at this moon phase, and at this color of undies I'm wearing. All these factors are affecting the voltage and internal resistance at some stage. It is a metal box full of chemicals. What do you expect? But this is more an example of what you can do when you get battery cells new. You can use the lithium iron phosphate scanner and create such a table and add your own measurement of voltage and internal resistance. And then after a year or 2 years or 5 years, you measure again and you have a comparison to what the cells were when they were new. And we can also measure the temperature here, 17.6 degrees, 0.6. So there you go. And if you want to do it comprehensively, you also measure the capacity of each individual cells, which we have done at the beginning, but I'm not doing this anymore. It just takes far too much energy and far too much time. So, but to compare the consistency of these cells, I will now take one battery cell of each of these 4 packs here and do a capacity test. Moreover, I do a charge and discharge test and take the curves for each of these tests. And then we want to compare these curves together. So we can overlay them and can see if these 4 randomly selected cells are actually charging in the same manner or discharging in the same way as the other cells. So this is what I would call a consistency check. So let me set this all up here and then I explain how we do it. So I have now installed the CKE tester, the EBC-A40L. This is the Chinese cracker, a 40 amp charge and discharge tester, one of the best on the market for testing battery cells. And we are connecting directly to the battery terminal. The tester uses a 4-wire test method, so we are measuring current and voltage separately. Makes it very accurate. And I have also connected the tester to the computer, started the EB tester software already, and the first thing we want to do is we want to fully discharge this battery cell down to 2.5 volts. So we do a discharge, constant current with 40 amps down to 2.5 volts. So these cells usually come pre-charged at around 30 to 40%. So it may take a few hours to actually get down to 2.5 volts. Okay, let's start this first here. And once this is finished, I'll explain how we test the consistency of these cells. Okay, see you in a couple of hours. Actually, have a look at this. The clouds are now gone. And we have this mixed blue sky cloud situation here. And we just had 80 amps outside, but now we are down to 39, 40 amps. It's not bad. We are 29% state of charge. That's insane. So it's almost 3 kilowatt of power we are generating here. Beautiful! And I have selected 4 random battery cells here from these 16 delivered. Number 2, number 5, 10, 11, number 12, and number 15. It doesn't matter for this test. Just 4 random batteries, that's all we need. Very strange, the computer software has stopped working at some stage. So we just have discharged the full battery with 100.5 ampere hours. I haven't got it on camera, so you need to believe me. Not sure why the software dropped out here. That's definitely not good. No, it's not the USB connection. I can hear the sound playing when I unplug it, but start stop doesn't work anymore here. Okay, we have now reached 2.5 volts, that's fine. So roughly 100 ampere hours in these batteries, which is around 35%. Okay. So we now do a charge, constant voltage, 40 amps, voltage is 3.65, and the cutoff would be 0.05 C. So this is when the battery is supposed to be fully charged. I know in the past we have charged these batteries down to 1 amp. But this is then slightly overcharging the battery already. So 14 amps would be actually the cutoff for a 280 ampere hour cell, not 1 amp. Okay, we click on start and hope it just works. If it all works, we see us again after, oh shit, that's a 7 hour, 7 times 40 is 280, yeah, that's 7 hours. It will be a long night. All right, anyway, we have to do it. Crazy. I had to shift all the equipment and the battery on the right hand side here. The tester disconnected from the computer last night at around 9 PM. When I had a look, there was no data coming in anymore. exactly like before. So I claimed the USB extension cable for it, and now I've plugged in the tester, the Chinese cracker, directly to the computer, and no issues anymore. Hopefully. So it is now the next morning, obviously, so I couldn't stay up until 3:30 or so. We've got now the perfect charge curve for a lithium iron phosphate battery, flat plateau until here somewhere, and then voltage is rising steep, but then we are already 99% charged. 3.65 volts, we are holding this until the current has tapered off to 14 amps, which is 0.05 C, as per the specifications for this battery. And then we stop charging. Battery is now 100% charged. And as you can also see, the voltage is now tapering off to 3.35 volts. Yeah, this is the natural rest voltage of the cell now. I'm receiving still many emails where people are saying, well, are my battery cells faulty? Because when I charged them to 3.65 volts, the voltage is dropping down afterwards. That is absolutely normal and perfectly fine. The battery is still 100% charged at 3.341 volts now. 300.8 ampere hours we have charged into this battery. That is a lot. Okay, well, I'll take it. There seems to be very high quality cells. Crazy. Over 1 kilowatt hour into a 280 ampere hour battery. We go to discharge, 2.5 amps. All the way down, discharging with constant current 40 amps down to 2.5. Start. Alright, this will be another 7 hours. And we will see us again at 3 p.m. and then we can start the second cell charging. Alright, so yeah, 3 p.m. you have a wonderful morning, or whatever you have. Okay, my friends, it is now shortly after 4 p.m. So the discharge test took actually a bit longer because we have discharged this battery with almost 300 ampere hours. 297.4 ampere hours for a 280 ampere hour battery. That's amazing. So far very good quality from the capacity perspective. And I've already saved the curve and the data for this. And we can now swap the batteries to the next one. And I will continue doing this for battery number 6, exactly 12 and 15. Yeah, and then we have 4 charge curves and 4 discharge curves and can compare them to each other and see how consistent these batteries are. Okay, give me another 3 days here and I'll be back with the result and we can have a look at the curves then. It'll take that long, I'm not kidding. I really have to apologize for not making a video in the last week. I was super busy on my other YouTube channel, Andy's Garage, testing a device and making a 1.5 hour review video. I know, right? And I also messed up this battery testing, as you have seen on the community page. And I was very busy calibrating solar panels, as you have seen in the community section as well. But now I have finally got all the data here of testing one battery of each of these rows, collecting all the data for charging and discharging, all the curves, everything. Okay, let's open the EB tester software and we go to File, Open Data, Volt Amp Second. Yeah, that's what we want. Another window opens, we maximize that and go to File and Open Data again. And then we browse to the folder where we have saved all the CSV files from our testing last week. Cell number 2, 6, 12 and 15. So let's start with the charge curves. I'll leave this as blue. There's our charge curve from cell number 2. And we open another one, Open Data, cell number 6 charge curve. Open, and we give this one another color like green. Say OK, and now you can see it's overlaying these charge curves, right? Bang, there it is. Curve. We don't want the current in here, we just want to concentrate on the voltages. So down here we've got the summary of each cell and we can see the begin voltage and the cutoff voltage and also the capacity, also the energy and the average voltage. So in theory, if these cells are well matched, the capacity and the average voltage should be as close together as possible. So interesting here is that cell number 2 and cell number 6 are exactly on top of each other. So they are well matched together, while cell number 12 and cell number 15 are matched as well. And then obviously here they meet at 3.2 volts somewhere, and then all 4 curves are pretty much on top of each other. So they have the same cell characteristic. At around 3.4 volts, we can see they are start to spread apart again. Green, which was our cell number 6, has a higher voltage increase than all the other cells. And interesting again is that cell number 12 and 15 are so well matched. Look at this. They are almost on top of each other until the end. They are spreading apart a bit here at the end, but not by much. While the other two cells are spreading apart in this location here. And I must admit, I've never seen that before, that we have such a smooth increase in voltage like on the green curve and the blue curve here, but have a far flatter curve for the other two cells until they hit like 3.4 volts, and then the voltage increases very fast. So there is a bit of a spread here with these cells, I must admit. They are not as well matched as some other cells we have tested before here on the channel. I'm not so worried about the spread here at the beginning, but here at around 3.4 volts we can already see a fairly large spread. So yellow and purple are 100% well matched, so they are really good matched, but blue and green not so much. Alright my friends, it is now the next day. I have stopped this experiment last night when I saw these curves here, and I went inside and had a bit of a think about what we are seeing here on the screen. Well, and today I have changed into my red warning t-shirt. It is actually 3.5 amps outside at the moment. Very cloudy here, ice cold wind. So what I am a bit concerned about is, why is the voltage of the green cell and the blue cell prematurely rising and not staying flat as the other two cells are doing? Because there should be no rise in voltage before we hit 3.4 something volt. This, what we are seeing here, I have never seen before. So before I dig deeper into this one here, let me show quickly the discharge curve of these four cells as a comparison. Well, starting from 3.65 volts somewhere, voltage drops fast to 3.3 volts and then plateaus out until, and then somewhere over here at 3.1 or something, and then we see a spread again across these four cells. But we can also see again that the green cell is the one with the lowest voltage here. Pretty much since the start, since here about 30% into the discharge, we see the green curve has the lowest voltage. And looking at the average voltage here, we are getting only 3.2 volts with this one cell. The blue one is holding up pretty good in the discharge test, but it was doing a similar shit here as well and rising the voltage prematurely, which it shouldn't do. And then here all four discharge curves are spreading apart, and this is only because of the difference in capacity. Yeah, when we have a quick look at the table here, 297 is the highest and 284, so this is 13 ampere hours. This is quite a lot actually between cell number 2, the green cell, and the blue one. Yeah, so I'm not worried about this stuff here because this is solely dependent on the capacity of the cell. I'm more worried about why these voltage curves are so different. So let's go back into our EB tester software and open data. So what I have done last night is I took a second charge curve for this cell number 6, for the green cell again, just to make sure there was nothing wrong while we did this test here with a measurement of the CKE tester or something, the cable connections or something was not right or so. So I completely repeated the charge test for this cell number 6. So we want to open the charge curve for cell number 6 again, and we give this the green color. Here's our charge curve. I get rid of the current. Only looking at this curve, it doesn't look too bad, right? But we can still see this smooth incline in this curve here, which we have not seen before. So let me open the second charge curve for this cell. This is this one here, and we give this one a dark green. Yeah, we stay with green for this one cell, and boom! Oh, wrong t-shirt. We can see pretty much the same. Yeah, the voltage is pretty much following the lighter green curve. Then I thought, well, how do other cells, not from this delivery, how do other cells look like? We have so much data. Let's open, so LF280K. Let's go into the Gobelpower folder. And we have tested 3 of the Gobelpower cells they have sent a couple of months ago. Cell number 2, charge curve. Yeah, Gobelpower. Open. We can leave blue for this. This is fine. And look at this. This is what I'm talking about. Look how flat this curve is, and then right at the end, boom, it goes up. While these curves for cell number 6, both charge tests, smooth incline, yeah, going well above the blue line. Okay, let's open another charge curve of the Gobelpower cells. Cell number 10 we have tested, and we give this another color. We go pink here, doesn't matter. Bang, look at this. Flat, 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 and then it rises at the end. Not over here somewhere already. Not this smooth incline. And again, these two curves are only different because we have different capacities. 306.8 ampere hours to 302.8 ampere hours. That's why the curves are ending differently at 3.65 volts. Okay, open cell number 13 as well from the Gobelpower test charge curve. And we give this the yellow color so we can distinguish them. Bang, there's yellow. Follows the other two curves, and then here it follows, can hardly see it. Let me zoom in. No, we can't zoom in here in this comparison, but it follows very closely the blue line. So we should have, yeah, we have exactly the same capacity. So here you can see, yeah, the Gobelpower cells are flat and then almost in a right angle going up to 3.65 volts, very steep incline, while these ones, smooth. Too smooth for me, actually. Okay, let's go back into our EVE LF280. What else do we have? Certified cells. Here, we have an LF280K certified charge curve. Open, go black. Doesn't really matter. Bang! Same result, yeah? Only because we have a lower capacity, it reaches the 3.65 earlier. Yeah, this cell has only 285.7 ampere hours, while the other three from Gobelpower, they were far over 300. But look at the corner this curve does. Yeah, very steep, goes right away. And this is what we have seen all the time when we tested these lithium iron phosphate cells. And these two are not following this. And this is exactly why we do these consistency tests here with these cells. Yeah, we are not comparing voltage or internal resistance or capacity or something. Yeah, we do this as well, but the main thing is the consistency here. How consistent do they charge? Yeah, look at these three Gobelpower batteries. They are so close together in the charge curve, how they perform in the middle part of the curve, and then at the end, it's all the same. They're only different because they have slightly different capacities, that's all. But the consistency is 100% there. While here with the Yixiang cells, which are EVE LF280K cells as well, can't see that. And this completely throws me off the track now. And I put these details into our table as well. You can see the colors here matching the colors in our graph. And you can see there's nothing wrong with the internal resistance of cell number 6. So it's not like it has an overly high internal resistance or an overly low internal resistance. Yep, just 0.2 milliohms, like all the other cells. And still we are seeing this weird behavior of the charge curve. So I sent this table to Yixiang last night, contacted them and said, look, this is the situation we have. I sent them all the graphs as well, charging, discharging, comparison with the Gobelpower cells, with other cells we have tested before. And I don't think they quite understand what the problem is, because they sent me the, because these are A-grade cells, so you get an original spreadsheet from the manufacturer with all the details of the cell. But of course, they only measure capacity, voltage, and internal resistance there. Yeah, they are not looking at the charge and discharge curves. So I explained in all details what the problem actually is, but they got back to me and say, look, we test all the cells for capacity and everything. I said, the capacity is not the issue. It is not a capacity issue. It's not like we are getting only 250 or 260 ampere hours. We're getting close to 300 ampere hours out of these cells, right? So it's not an issue of capacity, but the curve looks not right. Something is not right with these cells. Well, and then she was asking in the technical department, and they got back to me and showed me a short video how they test the cells. But this is again all for capacity only. Okay, I have just pulled up the original CSV file we have exported from the QR code scanner app on my mobile phone. This was all the data coming from the batteries when scanning this QR code here. And our concern is here cell number 6, the green one. It is manufactured at exactly the same date as cell number 12 on the same factory production line and on the same factory task order. Yeah, it is exactly like the purple one. So from this data, we cannot see any difference to that at all. But here, looking in the curves, we can. So I would say the yellow and the purple one, they are normal. They are going fairly straight and then shoot up. While the green and blue one, don't know. That looks weird to me. Okay, well guys, I'll leave it with you and with Yixiang. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about these curves? Am I overreacting here? Is this something we need to be concerned about? But it looks weird, doesn't it? It looks different to all the other curves we have seen before. Why is that? I could, of course, put all these battery cells here into the Yixiang do-it-yourself case down there in the battery room and see how all these cells here perform as a whole battery. See if you can see any difference that cell number 6 is always the highest cell when we charge and always the lowest when we discharge. So things like this, you know, just while we are using it on a daily basis. So I'm not sure if this is really a concern with these cells here, but it just caught my eye, you know. It is so obvious that something is different to what we have seen before, and when we compare these to other cells, they behave differently. Well guys, at least I have shown you how to create such a table to keep a history of all your cells over time, so you can do these tests with capacity, voltage and internal resistance. And if you happen to have these EBZ testers, you can do these curves yourself as well. So this was a bit of a tutorial video how to create this table, how to keep track of your batteries, with a very unexpected end, I must say. Very unexpected. So, of course, I'll keep you in the loop, guys, as soon as Yixiang comes back to me with some sort of solution, whatever they are saying. I tried to explain this to them, but they are very focused on the capacity of each of the cells. So, let's see what will happen. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all your great and amazing support here on the channel. Welcome to all these, I don't know, it was 90,856 this morning or so. Thank you so much, guys, and welcome to the channel. Without you, there would be a single 0 here on the door. So I really cannot thank you enough, guys. And until the next video, guys, when we do probably something different to battery testing again. Until then, guys, you stay charged, stay safe, and thanks again for watching. See you then. Bye-bye.